This is the Life is Easy, Life is Good video blog, and this is the 30th video. So, I had just been discussing recently that all goodness and blessing is specifically designed for us to enjoy. And last week, I just kind of related that to how the story of the crippled man, when he was sitting outside the church service year after year after year, from the time of his childhood until he was an adult, hanging his head, feeling miserable about being crippled. One of the ministers who walked into the church service gave him the ability to feel rich on the inside, and that caused him to be able to leap and jump and celebrate his life. And that's the way we're supposed to be feeling about our life. So this week, I just wanted to continue that thought that all goodness and blessing is specifically meant for us to enjoy, and just talk a little bit about another story where there was a wealthy father who had two sons. And his youngest son came to him and said, "Hey, can I have my inheritance early?" And the father gave him that inheritance, and the son went on to a faraway country and spent all of his inheritance on just foolish living, just spending the money without restraint. Anything he wanted, he bought. Anything he saw, he went ahead and spent the money to receive it until he had nothing left. And to make matters worse, when he had nothing left, that country actually went through a famine. So there was a shortage of food, there was a shortage of water, there was a shortage of just even living with the bare essentials. So he was reduced to going to a man in that country who was going to give him a job, and his job was to feed hogs. And so as he was feeding the hogs, he was so hungry because it had been such a long time that he hadn't eaten, that he actually considered eating what he was feeding the hogs, which was slop and actual, just a mess of food. And he considered, climbing in with the hogs and eating what they were eating. And when that happened, he came to his senses like, I have been reduced to nothing. I'm the son of a wealthy man, and I'm reduced to wanting or desiring to eat what I'm feeding these hogs. And then he thought of all of the servants from his father's wealthy kingdom, and he said, one of my father's servants actually lives better than this. So let me go back to my father, apologize for my rebellion, and just ask if I could just merely be a servant. So he starts walking back home, and while he's walking back home, his father actually sees him a long way off. And when his father sees him, he's moved with compassion and with tenderness towards him. Not disdain, not judgment, not anger or fury. He's moved with tenderness and compassion towards him. So he runs to him and embraces him and kisses him passionately. And when the son says to him, "Just make me a servant in your kingdom so that I can live good again," the father says, "No, you're my son, so we're going to actually throw a celebration. What we're going to do is we're going to have drinking, and we're going to have dancing, and we're going to make everybody in the kingdom feel alive with cheer." And they do a wild celebration over the homecoming of his son. And I just wanted to also use this story to relate that this celebration of life, these stories of celebration, is how we're supposed to be living our life. And we can do that when we actually train our mind to actually see that every single solitary good thing that happens in our life is a gift specifically designed for our enjoyment and for our ability to be able to celebrate life. And that's the way we have to see things, from the smallest thing to the biggest thing that happens in our life that's good. And so the biggest problem that the son had was not that he rebelled and lost everything and was reduced to groveling to his father for forgiveness. The biggest problem that the son had was that he didn't know how his father truly felt about him. The father really, really loved his son so much that he was actually hurting more than his son was while his son was away. But the son didn't know that. In fact, the son was probably pleasantly surprised that when he came back that his dad actually wanted to even lavish him with more gifts because he had messed everything up that he had given him before, and celebrated his homecoming. And I think that that's one of the reasons why we experience bad things or negative things happening in our life, or losing things that we give material value to, is because we don't really know how our creator or our source, who we're spiritually connected with, really feels about us. Religious traditions has taught us to view our source or our creator as somebody that's reluctant or hesitant, or somebody that we have to please with traditions or with rituals in order to gain favor or blessings. And what we really don't know is that how the creator and source really feels about us is a celebration. It's a lively celebration of a wild party, and that's how excited the creator feels towards us. And when we're able to experience that and receive that celebration that our source feels about us, then we're able to celebrate our own lives and see our own value. And that's the gravest mistake of humanity, is that we don't really see our own value when we're really a precious treasure to be cherished in the eyes of our creator, of our source, and not just of the creator or source of just humanity here on earth, but of all the universe. And when we are able to be aware of how our source feels about us in celebration and in pure uninhibited joy, then that gives us the ability to celebrate our own lives with that same value. So that's all for now. Next week I'm going to continue this thought of how every good thing and all blessings are specifically meant for us to enjoy. Please, this is going to be on our Facebook page, facebook.com/life is easy, life is good. So check out the video there. Also, you can check it out on our YouTube channel. This is the last chapter of the book, Life is Easy, Life is Good. So if you would like to leave a comment either on Twitter, Life is Easy, Life is Good, or even on our Instagram, Life is Easy, Life is Good. However you need to communicate with us, just let me know if you would like a free copy of this book, where I'm actually writing and expounding on these ideas about how to enjoy and love your life. So I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Peace.